Raman. This year marks the 26th anniversary of National Reading Day in the honor of Father of India's literary movement, the man behind the Kerala's universal literacy rate of 100%, P.N. Panikkar. To honor him and his works, Read and Grow, we are celebrating Reading Month from June 19 to July 18. So now we friends are here to enlighten you with the importance, benefits and dutiness involved in book reading. Why should we read a book? If I ask you how a person achieve greatness in something, you may answer, well, by acquiring knowledge about that. So what's the source of knowledge? Books, aren't they? But now you can ask me, why should I read books if I can watch YouTube videos, surf the internet, listen to podcasts, etc. to know about them? And that's the main question. Actually, our brain reacts to the book's content in a different way than that of other sources. So when you read books, you visualize things on your own way. Like when you read a novel and an author describes about someone's appearance, some place or scenario, you will try to figure that place in your mind, and this makes your brain to work more, which in turn increases your brain's imagination and the thinking ability. How are we benefited by reading books? It strengthens your brain, increases empathy, aids sleep, lengthens lifespan, builds vocabulary. So keep reading books, and if you haven't started reading books, start as soon as possible. Now, I'm going to pass this on to my friend Yashwant, who is going to talk about famous personalities who read books. Thank you.
Well said, Harneshwarya. Pranam friends, I'm S. Yashwant of class 11. I'm here to talk about famous persons who read books. I personally wanted to talk about Mahatma Gandhi, the father of our nation. I've always wondered, how did Gandhiji thought of preaching non-violence and winning independence? When I thought of it, I just googled it, but I got an unexpected answer. It was said that he got knowledge from books, and he was a devotee of Lord Harichandra, a man who was known for his honesty. But there is an important fact that the book which he read during his travel from Johannesburg to Durban gave him a clear idea about non-violence. And to this last was the book. A man who was changed by a book. Can you imagine? He also changed the lives of a million people. We Indians are independent because of him. But did only Gandhiji read books? Nope. He wrote books. He wrote such great books. My Experiments with Truth. But do you know one of the world's famous activists against inequality was born due to this book? My Experiments with Truth. Do you know who is he? Martin Luther King Jr. He always said that Gandhiji was an inspiration for me and I admire Gandhi. He said that I will read this book very often. Luther King said that I have read Gandhi's books many times. I personally used to tackle my situations through non-violence with the help of this book. And now, on this book is useful to Martin Luther King, who won the battle against slavery, injustice, inequality through non-violence. Was a great victory to him. Only do people in ancient times solve it through books? No. People now in the current trend are also famous because of reading books. Can I say one as an example? Elon Musk. A reporter asked him, How do you get the idea to invent these such things? How do you invent rockets like these? He said that the answer is simple. I read books and I devour books. Such words of wisdom. Do you know J.K. Rowling? Of course, you don't know her. J.K. Rowling is one of the famous writers now, and she said that something magical will happen in your life if you really read a good book. And do you know what? It reflected in her own life. She started reading at the age of 6, and now she is enjoying the fruit of it. J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter was famous all over the world, and 500 million copies of her book were sold. But friends, what have we learned today? We have learned today that books can make people famous, and those people who understand this will be famous. Thank you, friends. Please don't waste your time. Use this time to read books, educate yourself. We have lots of stuffs in these books. If they can become famous by reading books, why can't we? Ask this question, why can't we? Take this seriously. I pass on this event to my friend Venkatanathan. Thank you.
Thank you, Yashwant, for your great wise words. Pranam everyone, I'm Venkatanathan of class 11A2 and I'm going to talk about how to read a book properly and efficiently. Reading is a method of communication that enables a person to turn a communication into a meaning. It allows the reader to convert a written text into a meaningful language with independence, comprehension and fluency within the message. Now let us know about 7 reading techniques which helps to change your life significantly and as well as entertain us with the experience as narrator. These skills, once learned and understood well, can definitely enhance the reading skills and increase the quantity and quality of the output that we get after reading. Now, let us know about the technique. Number 1, that is scanning. Scanning through the text is a reading strategy that is used for getting more specific points by looking at the whole text. For highlighting the important points of a book, readers can skim through the summary or the preface of the beginning and end chapters of the book. Number 2, that is skimming. The reading technique is used for getting the glance of the whole text lead. Under this technique, we read quickly to get main points and skip over details. Number 3, active reading style. Active reading style aims to get in-depth understanding of the text. Under this technique, the reader is actively involved within the text while reading it. Getting in-depth knowledge of text in hand is not possible by reading to skim through or scan through text. Number 4, achieve. This technique is used for extracting information accurately from the whole text. Under this technique, we read every word for understanding the meaning of the text. In this careful reading, we can skim through the text for just getting a general idea and then go to read in a detailed way. Number 5, speed reading. This is actually a combination of various reading methods. Some strategies used in this are identifying words without focusing on the letter, not to sounding out all words, not sub-vocalizing some phrases, spending less time on some phrases than others, skimming through small sections. Number 6, structure evaluation. This reading technique is mainly applicable to non-fiction writing. This suggests to read as per as 3 following techniques: studying the structure of work, studying logical propositions made and organized to chains of interference, evaluation of merits of arguments and conclusion. Number 7, last but not least, and that is called survey review. This method aims to facilitate a clear understanding of the text that the reader would be able to teach whatever he has learned during the process of his learning. This basically follows 5 things: survey, question text, read, recite and review. So that's it guys. Reading is a skill that is a basic foundation of success but can be only achieved to its fullest only if properly done. I would like to conclude by saying that everything needs a technique to be done properly. So use these techniques next time to read efficiently. Thank you and a happy reading week. I pass it on to Sai Shivani.
Thank you, Venkatanathan, for your wonderful words of wisdom. Pranam everyone. I am G. Sai Shivani from class 11A1 and I am here to share a review of the book The Honest Truth by Dan Gemeinhart. The Honest Truth is a moving story about a young boy's rediscovery of the will to live, even in the face of terrible odds. In all the ways that matter, Mark is a normal kid. He's got a dog named Beauchamp and his best friend Jessie. He likes to take photos and write haiku poems in his notebook. But in one important way, Mark is not like other kids. Mark is sick. The kind of sick that means hospitals and treatments. The kind of sick some people never get better from. So Mark decides to run away. He leaves home with his camera, his notebook, his dog and a plan to reach the top of Mountain Rainier even if it's the last thing he'll ever do. The Honest Truth is a book that deals with several very interesting issues surrounding Mark, who refuses treatment and death. Mark undertakes what he believes is a final journey to climb Mountain Rainier. The impetus for this trip is based on the relationship he had with his grandfather, who loved to mountain climb and who planned to take Mark to climb Mountain Rainier when Mark recovered from his illness. Unfortunately, when Mark recovered, his grandfather became ill. So,
Instead of taking that trip, Mark watched as his grandfather's health gradually declined until he passed away. His grandfather made Mark promise to climb Mount Rainier for him. When Mark learns his cancer has returned, he is devastated but is determined to climb the mountain and die there. Having no idea of the problems that might befall him, he saves his money, leaves a note for his best friend Jess, and sets out. The honest truth is told in two narratives, that of Mark and that of his friend Jessie, who fills in the reader on the search for Mark as well as handling her own increasing conflict. Jessie faces a serious moral dilemma when she learns the truth about Mark's disappearance. To honor her friend's request not to tell, even if it means his death, or to tell and save his life. A major theme in the novel is therefore the concept of friendship and loyalty. The friendship between Mark and Jessie, and the friendship between Mark and his beloved dog Beauchamp. The friendship and the sense of loyalty between the characters are beautifully molded to perfection such that it ensures to deeply captivate the heart of the reader. Overall, The Honest Truth is a rare and extraordinary novel about big questions, small doubts, and one incredible journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Shivani, for giving us a review of such a great book, The Honest Truth. Such a great book. Your review was very nice about that, and will surely read that book. So yeah, pranam everyone. I'm Raswini from class 12th A3. The topic that I've chosen now will bring joy and joy in everyone's mind, because every kid's mind, because I'm going to suggest few of the best books that every kid must start with. The first book in my list is the Panchatantra Tales, the Jataka Tales, the Akbar and Birbal story collections, Tenali Rama short story collections. And why I've chosen this to be your first is because it has lots of morals and lots of values that we should learn for our entire life. So only I've chosen this as first in my list. Number 2 is the Diaries of Wimpy Kid. The cartoonic representation, the simple cartoonic representation attracts us, and we'll really fall in love with reading Wimpy Kid. So you must try that. Number 3 is the Geronimo Stilton. Geronimo Stilton is Geronimo Stilton and Pierre Stilton are parallelly two stories, wherein you find the events that occur, the life events that occur in them in a very humorous manner, and also the cartoons, colorful cartoons over the book will attract every kid to read, and they usually fall in love with reading these books. And number 4 in my list is something the best. I think this is the best books that I'm going to say, because these are my most favorite books by Roald Dahl. I think he's the most best child novelist that I've read. So the first book of his is the George and the Marvelous Medicine. I'm sure guys, if you read this book, you will have a hearty laugh. By reading every page of the book, you will really fall in, you will have a hearty laugh, and your stomach literally starts to pain. You will enjoy reading that book. The way George defeats his grandmom by preparing the medicine, and the humorous events represented over there in the book will surely bring a laugh in your mind. And also the next book is the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The Matilda, the Witches are some of the great work done by Roald Dahl, and there are lots and lots of books written by him, but these are my personal favorites. And the fifth book on my list is The Enchanted Wood by Enid Blyton. Enid Blyton is again a very great child novelist, and also you must try reading this in Enchanted Wood. Why have specified Enchanted Wood? That novel alone, it's full of fantasiness and mysteries. You must try reading this book, so that your fantasy level and mystery level will rise up to an extent that what happens in the story you'll be very curious to know. And how can I forget Harry Potter? Yes, 6th in my list is Harry Potter. Harry Potter is such a book, you will never have a heart to leave that book and go on to next work. So Harry Potter is such a book, and it has 7 parts. I think you all know what the parts. But anyway, let me call off the part. The first one is Philosopher's Stone, second one is Chamber of Secrets, third one would be the Prisoner of Azkaban, fourth one is the Goblet of Fire, fifth one is Order of Phoenix, sixth one would be the Half-Blood Prince, and seventh one is the Deadly Hallows. You must try reading these books. And the last and the final in my list, these two, I'm just going to combine these both. That is the Secret Seven and the Famous Five by Enid Blyton. These two are some great series that every kid must read, because if they start reading series at this age, specifically these both books, they will really love to read the book forever, because these both are it has such a great mysteries and fantasy level that every kid will fall in love with. So I think I've given a brief account on the best suggestion for the books that I love as a kid, and also I'm loving these books still now. Yes, that's all for all now, and Guhanand will be continuing continuing this whole book reading symposium. I hope you find this video useful, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Manaswini, for your great book review. So, good morning all. I'm S. Guhanand of Class 12 here to give a speech on how to cultivate reading habits. As you all know, children don't like reading books because they are not interested in reading books. Second is that they find it too difficult to read because they lack basic skills. So, here are some points for parents. Why parents? Because a parent may not be a teacher, but the parent is the child's first real teacher. So, here are the points. First one is that read in front of a child. The child grows by what they observe. So, if you are excited about reading, your child may catch your enthusiasm. Take them to library is the second one. Taking them to libraries give your child a chance to develop a good reading habit and see other kids doing the same thing. Third is that reduce television or internet. This may be difficult to many people, but the results are sweet. The more they reduce the time in internet or TV, the more they gain knowledge by reading books. So here are some tips for parents to cultivate reading habits, and I think this may help them. So I would like to ask Srinidhi and Aspika to take over. Thank you.
Thank you, Guhanand. Pranam. I am Srinidhi Subramaniam of Class 12.
I'm Shriyashwika Ji of Class 12.
And now we are going to talk about how reading books impacts and affects the psychology of the reader. Everyone knows, right? For a book to be good, the story has to be good. But I think what people don't realize is that you not only take away the story from the book, you also take away morals, opinions, and perspectives. For example, I found myself mimicking a lot of the characteristics of the main character of a book series I like unconsciously. I didn't even know I was doing it, but I found myself reflecting their morals and their opinions. So we should be open to the idea of seeing many different moral systems and seeing many different opinions, because reading books helps cultivate a strong base for your own ideas and helps you see the world in different colors and makes you understand that not everything is black or white. I feel like personally reading books has helped me differentiate between good and bad more easily, and it also helps in general to express your own thoughts and emotions, because you will find out that there is a way for you to express your feelings without stressing about it.
It is true that books are our best friends. I know it sounds cliche, but when you are in a sticky situation, when you feel like you don't belong, well, reading your favorite books are so familiar that you will feel like you are at home. The stories we do love live in us forever. So that's exactly why people prefer fictional books. It gives them an escape from reality. When we read a book, we travel along with the characters. We grow up alongside them. We learn with them. We go on adventures with them. We even save the world with them. And that makes us feel like we belong. And that's a feeling most of us crave for a lot. But there's a fine line between wishing to belong in a book and trying to escape reality. So It's important that as much as you love a book or love a fictional universe, you need to differentiate what's true and what's not. As much as I hate to say it, but we have to stay at real life. Escapism is fun, but prolonged escapism is not. So when you read a book, you bond with the book. Just travel with the characters and remember you have to say goodbye, even though how much you love them.
Like Ashvika said, when you read a book, you travel with the characters. And while you should be careful of the boundary between what is reality and what is fiction, I think reading a book and moving along with the characters helps you understand what they're going through. When we read books, each character has their own backstory, their own background, their own feelings, their own emotions. Reading books help you put yourself in others' shoes if they're in different situations. It helps you develop a strong sense of empathy, and it develops a better sense of understanding of how the human mind works and how human nature is. It helps you understand people, and so it helps improve your interactions with other people in your life. For example, a series, Ranger's Apprentice, that I really like, the characters there, seeing their interaction made me want to apply their philosophies when I talk with people in my life, and it has bettered many friendships and many relationships. So I think it's such a good thing that you understand how different people will be going through different emotions without even having to get into sticky situations. And if you do get into situations that you don't know how to come out of, reading lots of books and reading lots of different escape methods, or just in general how to deal with emotions, comes a long way, and it helps you throughout your life.
So, from this video, I hope you learned why we should read books and what are the benefits from it. And from my friends, I hope we got a lot of recommendations for excellent books.
I hope this symposium encourages all of you to inculcate the reading habit and make it something that you do every day, because reading is also an excellent stress buster. Thank you.